Hello and welcome back to B8 Tech Works. So today we are going to start building this blood bridge application. This is a blood donation application, and in the last video I went through the demo of this application. So if you haven't gone through the other video, make sure that you have gone through the other video so that you understand what we are building right now. So we are going to start with our backend. As you can see here, we have already a demo of what we are going to build. Right here you can see we have a front end that will be able to communicate with our backend, and it will send the data and also receive the data from the backend. And also our backend here will be responsible for other things like CRUD operation, and it will be able to save the data to a database and also take that data and push it to our backend here, that also will be pushed to our front end here that will interact with our user. Also, the other thing is that also you can see we have background services, and the work of background services here is to schedule tasks. For example, we'd be able to send templated emails that for the donors to remind them that they need or they can be able to donate blood again after 60 days. And also we are going to make sure that we have other services, for example, sending a templated email with all locations that the prospect can be able to donate blood. So that is the work of this diagram here, is to explain how this application works. And today, because we are going to start with our backend, I'm going to take this here, this line here, and I'm going to cancel the backend here and also our database, because that is what we are going to start with. So let us cancel these two parts here, and now we can go into our project. And right now, because we are going to start from scratch here, this is the project that I used to show you the demo. So I'm going to open another project. Before I do that, remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also like this video. Kindly also remember to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So now let's get into the tutorial now. So the first thing is that you need to know where you need to place your project. For example, my project, I wanted to place it in documents. So I'm going to get into documents right here, and I can be able to at least make a folder here, but I won't be doing that. I'm going to use my command prompt to do that. So this is my command prompt here, and you can see right here it's inside documents and then blood donation. So if I want to go outside this document, so I'm going to do cd and then dot dot, and here I can create my folder using mkdir like that, and then the name. So this one I'm going to call full stack. I'm going to call it full stack MERN application, or full stack blood donation app, like that. I think this is appropriate. And then now after that, I can get into that. I can be able to get into this full stack blood donation application folder, and then now I can be able to open my VS Code right here using code and then dot here. So if I do that, I'll be able to open now this VS Code here, and now this you can see is just an empty, there's just an empty application. And right here we need to have several folders. So let's go inside here and see how many folders that we need to have. So we are going to have a folder that is called front end. We are going to have one, the other one called backend. We are going to have this one for background services, and this one, because it's MongoDB, we are going to create database in MongoDB website. So that we are going to do that, and I want to close this so that it doesn't confuse us. So when I close that like that, it will also close the application. But right now already we know what we are going to build, so let us close that. So inside here I'm going to have different folders. For example, I'm going to have a backend folder. I'm going to have another folder that for background services. So this one is for background services for scheduling the task. And also inside here I'm going to have for the front end. So we have those three folders here. Right now, because we are starting with our backend here, I'm going to open my terminal and then get into now this one, the backend folder here. And right here also, the other thing that I want you to notice is that yeah, I have a several terminal that I can use. For example, I can use git bash. So if you have installed git bash, you can be able to use that. But right now I'm going to use just the normal PowerShell. So right here, let me get into the backend. So I'm going to get here and then go to the backend folder, write that like that. And then inside here, I need to now initialize node application because we are going to use node. So to initialize that, I'm going to use npm and then init like that, and then I'm going to do -y. That means I accept all the options that they will prompt me. So if I do that, and then after a while, you'll be able to see that I think this is not the command that I need to use, because if I check right here, there's no file that have been created. So let's repeat that. So it's npm init and then -y like that, and then after that we'll be able to see that it will actually create another file inside here. So you can see we have this package.json, and this one will register all the packages that we will install. So now after that, I'm going to actually create another file inside here that is called index.js. So you need to go through you need to follow what I'm doing. And then here inside, I can be able to install certain packages. For example, I can use npm, and then I'm going to install like Express. I'm going to install Express. I'm going to install CORS. I'm going to install also Mongoose that will help us to connect to a database. Also, I'm going to install like others, like let's say NodeMon. If you have not installed NodeMon globally, and also I'm going to install .env right there. So after this now, let us install that. And while we are installing, there's another thing that I want you to do, and that is create another file inside here in this full stack folder here. I'm going to actually create another file. So let's do that. Create a file here, and this file is git ignore. So git ignore will be very important because we are going to push our code to our GitHub. So here, the first thing that I'm going to just make sure that I don't want to push to my GitHub is node modules like that. Also, we are going to leave .env file because this is where we are going to put in the secret files or secret keys and everything. So I don't want to push these to node modules because this is where the packages are being installed, and you can check that by this time. You can see that node modules right here because we have already installed some packages. Those packages are installed inside this folder and also are registered here in this package.json. You can be able to see them here under dependencies. You can see course.env express, and if you also open this, you'll be able to see those packages right here. So let me close that, and then now we need to start now initializing our application. So let me also save this .git ignore here, and I'm going to close that. Inside also here in our backend, we need to have .env right there like that. And inside here, I want to add several things. For example, the port number, because we need to have a port that our server will be running on. I'm going to add 8000. Also, we need to have a URL for our DB. We have not created our DB, so we are going to do that later on. So let's save that. And then inside here, index.js, and here we need to initialize our application. But before that, also let us create other folders that we are going to have in our bucket. For example, we are going to have routes here. We are going to have also controllers. So we are going to have controllers right here also. And another thing that we are going to have is we are going to have middlewares. So middlewares right there. And also the last thing that also we are going to require inside the backend, we are going to have utils like that. So, and then after that, then we are going to create another file that is called app.jx, and then leave it like that. And then also I'm going to close this, and we can now start here. So the first thing that I want to do is that I don't think I have installed Express, and it's very important. So let me see here. Also, I have installed it, so I can be able to see it here. So that means that I have installed it. So then it's okay. Now we can be able to import Express right here, and we import it using require like that, and we are going to import Express like that. And then another thing is that we can be able to create app right here, and then also here we can be able to create it using express function. So another thing that you need to do now is to export it, because we are going to use it in our index.js. So exports here, and then we are going to at least export it here. Now, after that, we can be able to come here to the index. So here into the index, I need to at least import that. So right there, I'm going to import app like that, and I'm going to import it from now the app.jx. So here I'm going to add app like that. And then here I can be able now to use app.reason. So first of all, let me comment here. I'm going to comment server, and right here I'm going to use app.reason, and then here I need to have a port. So the first argument in app.reason function is the port number, and then the callback function. So I need to use this port number here, and to use it, because it is inside .env file here, we need first of all to be able to import .env to be able to use it to access .env, the variables that we have in our .env file. So I'm going to require here, I'm going to require like you're going to require .env, sorry. So .env right here. So I don't know why I'm not able to see it. Actually, I don't know if I installed it. I can be able to see it here. Let me confirm also in our package.json we actually installed it, so I cannot be able to see it here. Oh, actually it's here. So that will be easy now. We have imported it, and then the other thing that you need to do is to do .env. Actually, I'm doing it in a file that I don't want to use it, so I'm going to cut this like that, and then I'm going to use it right here. So make sure that I import .env, and then .env you need to do .env.config like that, so that you can be able to use it. So here I need now a port. So let me come here, and I'm going to have my port here. So port, I'm going to comment that. So I'm going to do const port, and then here I can be able to use process.env and then .port like that. And then now, since we have a port, we can use that port here, because now we can be able to access it from the .env file. Another thing is callback function right here. So let me do that. And then here I can do console.log like that. And then here I can use interpolation. Here I can say server is running on port, and then I can specify now the port here, the port like that, as easy as that. So let me try and run my application, but first of all I need to save these two files. So I'm going to make sure that I run it and see how, if it will run or there's something wrong. So let me cancel everything that I was doing here in the terminal. So using Control C. So actually let me just control or just remove this. Let me first of all make sure that I remove this, clear everything right here. And then the other thing is using node mon, and then running .index index.js like that, and then right here you can be able to see that server is running on port 8000, and that is what we actually wanted. So now the other thing is to make sure that we have connected to a database so that we can continue with our project. So now to create a project or any database in MongoDB, you need to come to MongoDB website here. So let me open that. So this is MongoDB website here, and I'm going to log in using my credentials. So if you have any credentials, you can use them to log in. And if you don't have credential for MongoDB, make sure that you create an account first of all, and also to make sure that you can log in. So I'm going to click here next. I have already my password here, so let me log in. So when I log in here, I'll be able to create now the database in this website. So remind me later to enable multi-factor authentication, and then inside here we can be able to create our database. So it is still loading here. Also, I think I cancel MongoDB here, so that's okay. So we are going to create the project here. So you can see I have several projects right here. So let me click actually on this top left right here. So you can see all the projects that I have created in this website. So I'm going to create a project here. You need to create a project. So you create a project right here. And then I think our project, we are going to call it Full Stack Blood Donation App, just the way we call the folder. So enter the name here, Full Stack Blood Donation, Full Stack Blood Donation Application or app. I think that's still okay. Here I'm going to add as an application. Here is my name, and then also I'm going to click next. I'm going to say the owner here, or maybe create a project now. So when I create the project, also I need to create like a cluster, and still right now it's still loading here. So after that, then we need to be redirected to a place where we can be able to create a cluster. So you can see here on the top left here, you need to make sure that that project is the one that is selected if you have created several projects. So here I'm going to create a cluster like that. Click on that plus icon, and then inside here I'm going to create now the cluster. So you can see here by default it is going to select for you. For example, this one is paid. You can see 0.09 cents an hour, but right now we need the free version. So I'm going to select this MO for free version, which will be enough for us because it has 512 MB, and also you can see it has everything that we are going to require to start with. So I'm going to create that, and then I have selected that. I think you can select AWS Cloud, Google Cloud, or Azure here, and then also you can select the region. So you can select the server that is close to your region, and then now we can create the deployment right here. So create the deployment, and then I think it's taking time. Yeah, you can see right now it's creating that, and here I can also be able to specify the user. So I'm going to create another user, so I'm not going to copy this user. So close that. Yeah, it is creating for me the database, and now it's refreshing right here. So after this, now you need to do several things. You need to scroll right here, make sure that you have selected the project that you created right here. You can see mine is Full Stack Blood Donation App. You need to come here to the database access, and first thing, you can create a user here. So I'm going to use password. So I'm going to create my name. I'm going to add my name here, and also the password will be my name like that. Let me show you. So this is, you can see the username is James, and also the password is James. And then another thing is that we need also to add inbuilt role. So for this one, I'm going to make sure that is Atlas admin or the admin. And then the other thing is to make sure that I add now the user like that. Now after that, we need to come here to network access, and right here, because you can see my IP address has been added right here, I need to make sure that I add another IP address to be able to access from everywhere. So I'm going to add it like that, and then to add the this IP address here, that means that you can access from anywhere, but also you can click here allow access from anywhere. I know it is not safe, so if it is a application that you are going to deploy in real life, you need to change this for security purposes. So I'm going to confirm that, and after that you can be able to see here that it will be added, and it will be added here the IP address to access from anywhere. So after that, now also the other thing that you need to do is to come here to the database and make sure that you can be able to connect. So you need to come click on the database here, and then click connect here, and here you can be able to see this URL here. You need to copy this URL. So already you can see it has added your username and password here. Already you remember the password also. So I'm going to copy this, and then inside here I can be able to add that in my .env, this URL for my database like that. So here the only thing that I need to change is my password. So let me just add my password right here. So you can see my username here. So this is my username and also my password. So I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to look at how I can be able to connect my MongoDB. So the first thing that I can do is to come here to index.js and for example, make sure that I import Mongoose here to be able to connect my database. So I'm going to do that, try and do that. So require like that, and then here I can be able to import Mongoose. You can be able to see that. And then here the other thing I can do is to add DB URL. So you can say DB, and then I can do const DB and then access the variable that we have in our .env file. So I'm going to do process.env and then .db like that. And then here then we add just these semicolons here. And then the other thing is that I can just come here and say Mongoose. So let me push this down, this one, so that we can have a space where we can work here. So I'm going to add Mongoose and then .connect. So you can be able to see this function for connect. And right here, I can be able to add DB, and then I can be able to say .then, and then right here, I can be able to have a callback function like that. And then here I can be able to say something like console.log, and then maybe something like my database, don't know, my database connected successfully. That is if it connects successfully. So connected successfully like that. And then if it fails, then I need to catch that error. So I'm going to have catch. Here I'm going to have error, and then here I can be able to print now that error. So console.log, we are going to print now the error right there. So if I try and do this, so let's try and save that, and you can see because we are using NodeMon, we are able to restart our application. So you can see server is running on port 8000 here, and also the other thing is database has been connected successfully. So for example, let's try and maybe remove here something like the password, or maybe misspell the password. So if I save that and then maybe restart the application, you'll be able to see that this application won't be able to run the database, because database we have it has a wrong password. So if I do that, you'll be able to see that there's this error here, and this error, we are printing it from the database. You can see we have authentication failed here. So that means that there's something wrong with the authentication. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the correct password right there, and then let me push this down. And after that, if I also restart my application right now, you'll be able to see that this will be able to run successfully because the password and the username is correct, that is. So but I don't want to do this because this is not the optimal way of doing things. What I'm going to do is that inside these utils here, I'm going to create a function file that is called db.js, like that. And inside here, I'm going to make sure that I import mongoose. So I'm going to come here to this index and then make sure that I import. Actually, I'm going to copy everything here because we are going to need it. So copy this, and inside here I can be able to make sure that I copy them like that, and then to paste them, and then index.js here I'm going to get everything here. Though I'm going to copy that, or let me cut because I'm not going to need them right here. So let me remove them like that. I'm going to come to db.js right here. I'm going to paste them here. So here I want to create a function. So first of all, let me cut this. And inside here, I'm going to create a function. And this one, we are going to call it db connection. So db connection, and then this is an arrow function right here. I'm going to add here try catch. So let me add here try catch like that. I'm going to add async, and then right here I'm going to add now this MongoDB. So I'm going to do await, and then I'm going to remove this thread catch here, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to make sure that I do it right here. So I'm going to use this catch from this try catch to catch any error that will occur. And right here, what I can do is I can be able to console.log the error first thing first here. I think let me see, yeah, like that. And then the other thing that I need to do is to make sure if we have error, then this function call itself. So we can do that using set timeout. So I'm going to use this set timeout like that. I'm going to add now, the first thing that I need to add here is the function. So this db connection, and then after that, the time that I want it to be able to call this function, I'm going to use 5,000 seconds. So that means that if the connection for database fails, that means that it will print the error, and then it will pause for 5,000 seconds, and then it will call this function again. That means it will keep trying to connect to the database, and that is the least optimal way of doing things. Then the other thing, I need to export this function now. So I'm going to come here and say module.exports like that, and then I'm going to export db connection like that. So now I'm going to require that or import that in the index.js. So let me do that here. Actually, I can just try under auto import. So I'm going to call this db connection. You can already be able to see right here, it is suggesting for us. So I'm going to import it like that, and then you can be able to see here it has already been you can see here it has been imported. And because we don't need this mongoose right here, I'm going to just remove it like that. So you can see after the server have been started, we are calling now this function to connect to our database. So if I save that and come back here, you need to see that it is starting, and also you can see database connect successfully. I think I can change this to database connected successfully. So I'm going to come here to db.js, and I'm going to add that here like that, and then save that. If I save that, this is will be able to restart, and you can see right now database connected successfully. And I don't want this video to be longer than this, so I'm going to end this video right here, and we are going to continue in the next video, where we are going to start by pushing our code to our GitHub. So have a great day. See you on the next video.